guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be reviewing MotoGP 22. So the latest installment of the MotoGP franchise is here today, and I am wanting to bring you full coverage of the brand new MotoGP game. Now first and foremost, we are going to be starting with the gameplay and graphics. I think that's rather important, so I want to start off with that one first. Then we'll do a deep dive looking into all of the different sort of menus and game modes, customization, career mode, and even more. But for now, I want to focus straight away graphically wise. I think the game looks great. It's not a massive improvement over MotoGP 21, but what has been improved is the track conditions, in the sense of if it's a very sunny day with no clouds, it's going to be a lovely bright track. If it's a bit cloudy, you will find some spots that are a bit darker than others, that are obviously shadowed by the clouds, which I think is a great feature. The rain is still very similar, but it looks very good. And of course, with a wet track, you still get a dry line forming in the race, which unfortunately you still cannot change the slick tyres on during a wet session. It's still only wet tyres. Now, the rider models and face scans for the MotoGP riders, including some of the engineers and pit crew such as Alberto Puig, Lynn Jarvis, etc., they are looking pretty good within MotoGP 22. I'm quite impressed with the way they have been done. Some of the riders look a little bit scary. Remy Gardner's a bit, I don't know, Enea Bastianini doesn't really look like Enea Bastianini, but still, I think it's a great improvement and we're going down the right direction. Would like to see a few more, but unfortunately the face scans for Moto 3 and Moto 2 of course are non-existent, but you do see them without their helmets or with their visors open on the grid, and yeah, that's not really right. I mean, Ana Carrasco is not a man. I mean, what happened there? And Dennis Foggia, Tatsuki Suzuki, and even Ayumi Sasaki all looked identical with their visors open. So that needs to be changed completely, or just to put the visors down, because it looks absolutely terrible. But enough about graphics for now. Let's talk about gameplay, because this is the most important part. This is where we're going to be spending all of our time, and that is racing. I will tell you that the game has changed compared to MotoGP 21. But whether that's an upgrade, sidestep or downgrade, I'm still undecided. Personally, I thought MotoGP 21 handled the physics much better than MotoGP 22. I much preferred the way you could be more gentle on the brakes and really required you to be gentle on the acceleration to be fast. MotoGP 22 is the opposite. You can now be really aggressive with the brakes and you can now be really aggressive with the throttle compared to what you could be on MotoGP 21. A positive I will give is the trail braking has been improved a lot. Last season's game you could really trail brake for a long time as long as you held the right amount of brake. This one not so much. You do get punished if you try and trail brake a little bit aggressively into the corner. You'll just end up dropping the front, or the bike will just start bucking and weaving, which I think is a great feature because I did really abuse the trail brake in MotoGP 21, so it has made me think a little bit more. Semi-automatic shifters are not going to have a good time with this game. If you want to take over and do a little bit of downshifting yourself, the game will no longer then upshift for you, so then it leaves you in a situation where you effectively swap over to manual until the game decides, okay, I'll take over again. That's a little bit annoying because on the fly, you can really lose time with the gears not shifting upwards. Now, the biggest addition to MotoGP, and exclusive to MotoGP, is the ride height device. Of course, using it in MotoGP in real life, we now have it in the video game counterpart. And I will say, it is a good feature to have, but at the same time, it also has a few negatives. So starting off with the positives, it does keep the rear tyre down and it stops you from wheeling, coming out of the more aggressive acceleration zones, but at the same time it does actually lose you a little bit of time. The feeling is very similar to just increasing your anti-wheeling up to level 5. The bike will stop wheeling, but you are significantly slower. I would say ride height is like that, but you aren't as slow as if you put the anti-wheeling up to 5. Now, the ride height device does also have another negative as well, the caveat being that if you do engage the ride height device by mistake, you cannot disable it. The only way you can disable it is by going firm on the brakes. So when you shift your rider weight forward and you go onto the brakes, the ride height device will disable. Now, if you enable that in a track like Sachsenring where you don't have a braking zone or a hard braking zone for quite a while, those twisty sections can be an absolute nightmare to contend with. So just be very careful with the ride height device, but I like the feature. I think I will still be using it because of course it's part of 22. It'll probably get a patch where it'll end up being balanced, so we'll see what happens in the future. But finishing up on gameplay, I would like to discuss the AI in this game. The AI are pretty good. I've had some very solid races. My career mode has gone fantastically well so far. I've really had a good time with the AI. The AI have been a little bit kamikaze, but at the same token, they do make a few mistakes by themselves, so maybe they'll drop the front, maybe they'll get caught up on a rumble strip, or maybe even accelerate too much so they end up getting a massive wheelie. Moments like that keep the racing exciting and fresh, so I'm very happy with the improvements there. I've also noticed that it's not as easy just to take out the AI as much as it was in MotoGP 21. Little tap into the rear, little tap into the side, and the rider would go straight down immediately. Doesn't seem to be the case in this one. I've had some pretty aggressive overtakes done to me, and also done back to them, and none of us have crashed. It's both stayed on the motorcycle and still been very, very entertaining. Now, as a player who plays on the hardest difficulty, which is 120% difficulty, I prefer it to be rather challenging. Didn't find that with MotoGP. Didn't find it in the 500cc's. I thought they were quite pathetic, to be honest with you. But in the Season 9 mode, very competitive and very entertaining. Doing the challenges on the hardest difficulty there was certainly a test for some of the best players, and I really, really enjoyed myself there. So that covers the gameplay. Let's talk about features. So here in the main menu, you can start your career mode, quick modes with races, time trials, and championship modes. 9 Season 2009, of course the legendary mode that we'll get to very soon, multiplayer, bit of training with the MotoGP Academy, customization, and a lot more. This game includes every single track from 2022 season and the 2009 season in line with the 9 mode. All riders have face scans in MotoGP, although the teams are not updated yet. Moto 2, none of the teams are updated with no face scans. Moto 3, MotoGP from 800cc's, MotoGP from 990cc's, MotoGP from 500cc's, and of course, every rider from 2009, including special liveries for certain tracks. But now let's focus our attention on the game mode. This is career mode, and if you're familiar with the screen, it means you've seen any MotoGP game for the past 5 years. Yes, identical career mode. Start with a brand new team, start with a factory team, hire and fire staff, upgrade the bike in the headquarters, and of course, with the goal being working up to MotoGP and having your own team eventually in some of the smaller classes. Now, customization is identical. Choose the nationality, the face, the name, whatever you want to change. Create your own custom helmet, which is always pretty cool, I've got to say, although it is exactly the same. Change the gloves in the same amount of gloves you had last year. Change the boots with the same amount of boots you had last year. Change the suits with the same amount of suits as last year. You get the idea. It is identical to last year's game, but if this is new to you, then it's pretty cool. Of course, the customization is very enjoyable, it's easy to use, and there's a lot to do. So yes, that is one thing. But of course, if you like making your own teams, you can choose from a couple of sponsors and make your own team as well. This has been in the games for quite a while. I don't tend to use them, to be honest with you, because most of them don't look very good, but I will say this Hertz Yamaha did look pretty nice. But looking at features, there's more to do yet, and that is the new MotoGP Academy, which in all honesty I think is fantastic. It is a great feature for veterans like myself and even newcomers. Slowly taking your time, working where the best sector time is in this particular track, moving on to the second sector, trying to improve your lap time there, or sector time should I say, until you can piece it all together for one complete lap. Historical modes and any real season objectives that we had to try and compete in the previous games are what I really miss about MotoGP games, and I'm pleased that something like this has been included. But something even better has been included, and that is the 9 Season 2009. This game mode just takes me back to the old challenge mode from MotoGP 08. That game included a chance to rewrite and recreate history, or to replay history, and that is exactly what this is, but for the 2009 season mode within MotoGP 22. Fantastic narration, great camera work and footage from the real races, a really great feature, and for me is the saving grace of MotoGP 22. The best part of MotoGP 22 is here. Now, just to mention, everything I've discussed so far, such as the 9 season mode, I have done videos on my channel, so if you're looking for more of a deeper look into those, definitely check out those on my channel. But I'm going to just conclude this review now and say that I am happy with MotoGP 22. The MotoGP Academy and the 9 season modes are the best parts about this game. The gameplay, yes, I'm still trying to adjust to because I'm so used to MotoGP 21. I still prefer 21's gameplay compared to 22, but it's not a bad thing. I'm still very much enjoying MotoGP 22. Now, of course, if you're new to MotoGP games, you might have a tough time with it because there are new features being thrown at you in a few places, and also bikes are much more difficult to handle than other racing games. So if you are having trouble with those, check out a braking guide tutorial that I've done a couple of days ago. And if you need any more questions or any more advice on whether you should buy MotoGP 22, let me know in the comment section down below. But what I will say, I'm having a good time with it, and that's down to you now to decide whether you want to purchase this game. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure to make this video for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi! Didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.